Welcome back to MadTakeTV. I am your host, Jeremy, the face you shall see when you tune into this channel. With me, and always, on the Severance podcast and other
What
TV
up? What up?
podcasts, my boy Dre. And
Turn this
yeah,
light off. 'Cause it's a
we
little
are here
shiny.
to speak about the Severance Season 2 finale, Cold Harbor. And what a finale it was. So, yeah, man, it just kicks off kind of with the no cold open, like usual. It goes right into after the previously on, goes right into the title card. And then we pick up like exactly where we left off in the previous week's episode with the question, do you remember the last thing you said to me? And she said, he says, she's alive. And then we come in on Harmony Cobell. And the first thing she says is, have you finished Cold Harbor? Mark's like, what? She's like, have you finished Cold Harbor? And he like waits a second. And he's like, no. And then
Her words, as soon as he said no, she echoed what he said. And he was like, well, then she's still alive.
and she's still alive. And then let me see real quick. Okay, so then he mentions she starts to describe the hallway or whatever. And he mentions the one from Irv's drawings, and she's like, what? Like she was like taking him back there. So that's like a new thing for her. And us knowing what she is to Severance now, that makes that a lot more interesting.
Yeah, especially considering that we know that Lumen or somebody from Lumen or Lumen adjacent, at very least, is monitoring Irving. So if they're not, it's like compartmentalized. She don't know about it at all, and they've been like monitoring him. That means they wasn't telling her shit in the first place. They was keeping her in a spot.
So I usually don't watch any I try not to watch any breakdowns or anything, but like I just like couldn't resist. I was like too into it. So I watched, I think, like New Rockstars or Screen Crusher or somebody like that. And one of the two. I honestly can't remember. I'm so sorry. So shout out to both. But where was I going with this? What were you just talking about?
I was just saying that they didn't give Miss Cobell all of the information she thought she had. She wasn't as in the loop as she had imagined.
So here's a question that I asked that I really didn't hear anybody else talk about, and Irv being absent from the finale, and actually, was it the last couple of episodes he was absent from, or was it in the last episode? Just the finale. It's kind of like not on everybody's mind, but like, why does Irv know what the black hallway is?
He knows the black hallway because
has he been severed? Has he been tested on? Does Irv have more than one innie? I didn't hear anybody ask that question.
You know the black hallway because realistically, I remember his Audi was painting the black hallway first.
The black hallway over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, because he was remembering.
And then he was dreaming. His hands were dirty from the ink. Remember, and then it's in the season, like the black like ichor that was dripping down his like his desk in his dreams. Like, see, I think he's been with Lumen longer than whatever. He's been tested on, I think.
He might have an older version of the chip, so reintegration was probably happening naturally for him. Because realistically, that's a good way. We know now. Everybody who's seen the show knows now that this is what they're doing. This is one question that's solved. We don't know why they're doing what they're doing, but we know what they're doing, and what they're doing is trying to separate human from their emotions. They go in iterations of the chip, the Severance chip. So he might have
software gets upgrades,
right? So
right.
He might still
software gets upgrades and patches. So really, I can't think of another reason why. Why would he know what the black hallway was or where it was? Why would he know any of that? Why would he, if they're not supposed to have seen that, that's kept a secret from the innies on the severed floor. Why would he know that other than he's been on the testing floor?
Also, Irving is the type of person, Irving's innie, especially on the rewatch when you go back to season 1. he's like the stickler for the rules. We're not supposed to be roaming around. We're not supposed to be talking to other people, until he runs into Bert.
But was done with the software upgrade.
Yeah.
They like stuck that like rule follower thing in his chip when they upgraded or did the next software. Man, he might have been the original guinea pig, dude, or one of them.
He could, yeah. Well, Bert shows signs of that too. Without going on this subject,
so are we still like talking like thinking Bert is severed or not severed?
I'm almost 100% Bert is severed, but if you think about it, just based off what we just said about Irving, Bert's severance chip might have been a really old version of it, and that's why when he was talking to Irving in this season, a lot of stuff he was saying was alluding to like he might have memories of what was going on down there. He would say significant things like that make you feel like he might never have been severed, but his severance might not have, held the way the newer. Because realistically, they showed us this. This was they went to PD's thing. They checked his chip. They went, you know what I'm saying, and they keep talking about upgrades. So Mark as finishing Cold Harbor would be the 25th file on Mrs. Casey. So they would
so I have questions about that too.
Would be the new thing.
Right. So actually listen, here I was thinking about this while you were talking. What if Bert, like we've discussed in the past on the show, that Lumen is experimenting with forms of like subdued workers, like a docile workforce, some way to do that, and like Severance was the way they did it with Harmony, but they didn't have that before Harmony Cobell. So like maybe Bert was one of those prior, like maybe he was just like brainwashed. Maybe he was, what's the word? Indoctrinated into Lumen in a different sort of way that he isn't.
Yeah, because he was the only one that used to say, he talked about having emotional reactions to like the Lumen propaganda, the paintings and stuff. He talked about standing there in awe. It was the greatest week of his life when they put out that new painting that he was talking to Bert about. Like he really was sincere. He loves the tenets of Keir. Like he might be overly indoctrinated more than anything.
I think we're witnessing another failed experiment. They like almost got there. We're witnessing another fail. They're like, so that's what happens when you do scientific experiments. You get to certain points, and then the next one it fails. You get to the next point, it fails. You get to farther and farther each time. So like, I think we're just witnessing. This has all happened before. This isn't the first time. They've been doing this since Harmony Cobell gave them that technology to who knows how many people and how many people they've gotten rid of.
Then and that explains, like I said, that recontextualizes season 1 because I always forget this guy's name, the big head security guy that was there,
Doug
Raynor. So every time she talked to Raynor, it was always a slightly tense conversation where it felt like he was constantly reminding her that she's under pressure with this program. So the iterations of the severance process might be her proving herself. You know what I mean? So, yeah, definitely.
All right. Yeah. So then we go to fucking creepy, Mr. Creepy, James Egan, where we left off with Helly last episode. And he says he recalls the speech. You gave a funny speech. He's speaking to her since, basically the last time he saw her, which was right before he called her fetid moppet, I think. But that was already Helena that he called that, I believe. He says he was cross with her after he threw a tin of candies. Dude, the way that they lit this dude in this scene, the way they made his eyes look fucking black, like with just like the little white dots in the middle, was super creepy. I know that he wasn't wearing contacts or anything, and when he stepped farther into the light, it looked normal. But the way when he was standing in the doorway and that like silhouette, like his eyes looked black, he was just like, what a way to make this dude look like the big bad, like the evil man, super fucking weirdo. And I don't know, I just thought that was an eerie way to. I don't know how you do that. I've never seen that before. It's just like that. Just like his eyes were blacked out with like a little, like a reflection of light in them. It's very strange.
Yeah, he has aura, creepy aura, but aura.
Creepy aura. So he says to her that he never loved his daughter, and he doesn't see Kier in her, or he did when she was little, and it left as she grew. And she basically reacts like to some of this shit just like the audience. Like she has the same she says out loud what everybody that's watching this shit thinks. You are so fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then he goes on to say that he didn't see Kieran or her, whatever, his daughter, and then he said he sired others in the shadows. So this confirms the whole thing we were talking about last week with Harmony sneaking into the birthing retreat and saying, this is one of James, no one needs to know, you know? Mm-hmm. So like this fucking creepy old fuck has been doing this shit. How many people he's got out there that are sons and daughters of his? Who fucking knows at this point? That's where I think that Drummond comes in. He's one of the stepkids, you know? Like he's family, but like he's a bastard, like a Jon Snow type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
That reference is gonna come back to bite him.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Like he's just he's not an eagle.
I'm saying the Game of Thrones connection is his downfall.
Oh, I hope not. You know what though? I think if you just don't make it jump the shark, just wrap it up nicely. I don't know. They're telling
you're not hearing what I'm saying.
I guess I'm not.
No, Brienne of Tarth.
Oh, that
Game of Thrones.
Okay, yeah.
Drummond. There we go.
Right
now we cook with grease.
Well, we'll get there. Kier left her as she grew. Blah, blah, blah. The sired thing. All right. Check. And there was no Kier. He didn't see Kier in any of the kids, the sired children either.
Man, I was halfway in that moment. I was halfway expecting him to say that he saw his son Mark or his, you know what I'm saying?
Some other shit like that. I didn't even think about that. I was
expecting he was gonna say some shit, and I was ready to be like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Right. But no, he says he sees Kier in Heliar. Dude, the way she jumps out of the chair, did you see him like step back in that moment? Like he just like steps back.
Well, you remember the story of Kier that they had during the Ortbo? Sort of a rebellious, free spirit type of person. So it tracks, you know?
Right.
So,
well, that's what he says there. He goes, there it is. And then
as soon as she got up in his face, like, look, man, she had that pen in her hand. He was like, yeah, there it is. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm looking for.
Right. But right before that shit, she drops one of the fucking best lines in the series. Like one of my favorite lines in this series so far. Your family created hell and you're going to burn in it. Dude, that shit was great, dude. Like, what great writing, great fucking performance, everything. I love that line, dude. Like, she made me like, yeah, fuck you, get this motherfucker, you know? She made me get all worked up about it. But, so then we go to back to the birthing retreat where they're kind of like telling Mark S, you know, what's going on. And he's kind of got a lot of questions. And she lays out the plan. She just starts like real matter of fact, like this. Again, this goes back to like even how Dylan treated them, how the outies think of the innies is just very, very inconsiderate. It's just not like they don't even.
Well, the way she looks at them is the way we talk about them, though. We talk about the fact that these are immature people. They are basically teenagers or preteens, and they behave as such. So, from her perspective, she's talking to an insolent child. Please stop asking me questions and do what I'm fucking telling you to do. You know what I mean? She like that's the attitude towards them. It's like you're not a person. Shut up and just listen.
Well, and that sucks. And that's like Mark S. You can see him is just like throughout this whole thing, all the way up until the end of this scene, where he literally just gets more agitated and more agitated and more like fuck you people, like fuck all of you, like
he was becoming the you or the he that he is. He was he was going off of Rickon's tenets and becoming self-actualized, and everything that they did unintentionally made him more himself. You know what I mean? So every step that they took to try to get him on board, they pretty much was pushing him in the direction of making his own decisions. They tried to give him autonomy by saying, "We need your help." Like, not you're gonna do this thing. It's like, I'm on your side, buddy. We need your help. You know what?
And he wasn't up until, and he started getting agitated at the point where he said, "Well, if Lumen ends, what happens to us?" And she's just like Devin, even though
Devin would look like, "Fuck you mean, Goofy? You gonna die?" She didn't even care. But like, it didn't even matter.
And that's what started it. The way she did it, she's like, "What do you mean?" Like, it was the way she asked that was like, he's like, "What do you mean? Like, what do you mean, bitch? Like, I'm supposed to just end? Like, fuck this." Like it was already off on a bad leg, like right there, dude. Like
we don't have a lot. This is everything we have. And you know what's funny? Like I said, and I don't want to make this an 18-hour discussion, but I'm basing all this on the season finale plus the watch back of season 1. So this is mirroring literally what Mark was telling Helly when Helly, after she did the "I'm gonna chop my fingers off" thing and all that, and he was talking to her, and he told her in the hallway, he said, "Listen, we don't have a lot. But what we have, this is what we have. This is our life." You know what I'm saying? And like, you have to find a way to be okay with this being our life, because this is what we have. And it's like, why? And she was looking like, "No, you a fucking idiot. Like, I want to end this shit." And he was looking like, "No, seriously, this is our life." He was looking at her then saying, "Just you being here, I didn't like when you came and replaced Petey, but at the end of the day, this is our family and this is what we have. So we have to take care of each other." And like, you could see the seeds right then being planted for what he was dealing with right then.
Right.
That's great. That's what's called great writing, character building.
And then, dude, like after that, she's like, "All right, well, all right, like, listen, somebody else wants to talk to you." And then we get, I don't know, it's just recency bias, I guess, but like up there with one of the best scenes of the series so far.
No, this was good. This was good. You can't.
Shout out to Adam Scott. What a performance, bro.
You can oversell a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do
we
that.
We might be able to oversell this to the point where somebody can watch it and be like, "That's not that good." But you can't overstate how great it is that this is one of the first times we saw somebody have a conversation with their other half, and it wasn't the Incredible Hulk versus Bruce Banner or Dr. Jekyll versus Mr. Hyde. It wasn't insanity, you know what I'm saying, person talking to their other half in the mirror, or Smeagol talking to Gollum in the puddle of water. Like, everybody's done that before.
Yes, this was distinctly different people.
Right, this is not a mental instability. No, this is not
their
psychosis.
Own drives, their own ambitions, their own feelings, their own. It's crazy. It's insane.
And both with legit positions and concerns.
Absolutely.
Fucking phenomenal. It was great. I love it.
I loved it, man. The way they even built from it, the way they even started off with the like, okay, they showed Mark record his whole thing, and then he stepped out into the balcony or whatever, and then but then it just started getting shorter and shorter to where at the end of it, it looked like they were having like. The way they cut it, looked like they were having a conversation with each other. It was so good.
Well directed. They showed us here's the process. This is how this is going to work. Look at the back and forth. We're going to step in, step out, step in, step out. You know, and then now we're just going to.
And slowly,
the conversation was so dope because before you go into it, the conversation was dope to me for one reason. Because like I said, they both had legitimate concerns. These are two people who love their lives and love the woman that they're in love with, and they want to continue that.
Right.
Mark is speaking from Mark Scout is speaking from a perspective of loss and wanting to get his wife back. He lost his wife 2 years ago. He's been mourning. He's sorry that I'm sorry I created you and put you in this situation. You know what I'm saying? But at this point, I need your help. This is my wife. I love her. But then Mark S is like, hey, I kind of like being alive. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
so, but like Mark Scout's perspective, Audi Mark's perspective is also coming from a point of everybody has been telling him that this is a nightmare down here. So he uses that word nightmare. I'm sorry, but he apologizes to him. It actually starts off decent. He apologizes to him, and he says like, I'm sorry for this nightmare you've been living. And then when Mark S comes back on, he's like, listen, I never expected to talk to you, nor to get an apology. So thank you. And nightmare is not really the right word. And he echoes exactly what you just said a few minutes ago about we make it work. This is what we were given, and we find a way to make it work. We don't want it to end. I hope you can understand that. And back and forth, they're like, yeah, I can understand it. Till finally, where the reintegration is brought up, and that's where things really take a turn for the worst. Because, and here's where I'm on Mark S's side a little bit. He's like, well, listen, man, you've been alive for 20 times longer than me. So what is this like? How's this going to work?
Yeah, your memory.
I'm sorry, reintegration, even if it is real, is the same thing as just turning me the fuck off. I'm sorry, this doesn't work for me. And
that was a legitimate concern, because when you look at it mathematically, just logically, you have a 30+ year life, and right. I've been here for 2 years.
2 years.
So even if we integrate the memories, I'm not me anymore. I'm mostly you.
And again, if you really want to think about it, not even really a full 2 years. Only 5 days a week for the 8 hours a day. That's not even the full 2 years if you do the math.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not good enough to do that calendar math on how to figure out exactly how that was. But he hasn't been alive that long. So he gets all of Mark S, and Mark only, it's just like a fraction. It's just like Mark just remembers being at work, but then there's the heli thing. And dude, and that's the other thing when it really, really takes a turn south, when he says,
what did he call her?
Helene. He got her name wrong. And now I was like, oh shit. And then
he was trying to be nice. He was like, but here's the thing though, Jeremy. He was talking to him like a little kid who had a girlfriend at school.
Bro, I even wrote down here, Mark belittled Mark S. and Helly's relationship, first by getting her name wrong, and then I love that you had experiences, so fucking condescending. Dude, I'm sorry, I don't care, that hurt my feelings. I'm just watching the show. I was like, God damn.
That whole exchange felt like the dad going home in the movie and telling the kids, hey, look, we moving to a new town for my job. And then the son is like, but I just started going out with Brittany. And he was like, oh, little right. fella, it's your first love. That's how he was
exactly
talking.
The energy. You nailed it. That's exactly right.
He was like, that's cool, little fella. You're going to meet plenty of girls,
So I did hear something that might be kind of cool. And I don't know, this is a lot of speculation, but it was either New Rockstars or something like that. It might have been New Rockstars. He said that those old camcorders are like that. They used to, when you stop press record, they would record for a second still after you hit that button. So there was those times when Mark would be he would change his face. Audi Mark would change his face for the camera, and then when he would hit the record button, he'd be and he would change his face. Man, what if that got caught on the recording? And he also pointed out, I'm going to shout out to New Rockstars. He also pointed out about how the emotions with them switching back and forth like that could possibly somewhat subconsciously carry through. So the anger was building on both sides. And
my son who's watching season 1 with me, it's his first watch. He's 17 years old. and we had just finished the scene where Helly had attempted in the elevator, and Mark was going up, and Raynor told him, get on the elevator, and he got up, and then he went up, and he was like panicking, and then he went to the turn back into Mark Scout, and my son was like, he still got to feel that. He might not know what it is, but he definitely feels something is wrong.
And there's definitely that's been alluded to prior. I think like PD said something about it, like even like like something about it goes with you.
We carry a part of it.
It stays with you.
They were
even down there, you feel it.
They were testing for that specifically with Gemma. With Gemma, when she was coming out of each room, he was like, "What are you feeling about that room when you come out?" So yeah, it's definitely part of the show. So it's not something that's happenstance. It's definitely part of the script. It's something that I could see that being why they both escalated at the same time.
And then one more shout out to, because I was pulling from New Rockstars, is the lighting for both. They lit Audi Mark in the outside nighttime with the blue, and then Innie Mark was specifically lit next to the fire in the the red or orange or whatever. It was like just two like night and day type of vibe with the scene back and forth. It was just I can't express enough how expertly it was done, and
it was pretty dope.
Like
I liked it.
I wish I knew more of the industry terms to say how well it was done. It was so good. I enjoyed it.
You did not show up to film class.
I didn't. Well, our teacher didn't show up to film class.
The teacher didn't show up either, but I definitely read the book.
We still made some fucking movies. Wait.
Damn, I wish I could find those movies we made.
Dude, listen, action movies. We made action movies. Not
good
weird
action.
Movies. Good action
and
movies.
Funny.
They were funny. There was a car chase and a karate fight in somebody's backyard. There was a sword fight, too.
There was a sword fight. That provocation was a basketball game with a little dude dunking on a big dude. Little skinny white dude. Remember his name was Steve White. Steve White. Steve White dunked on why I can't remember my brother's name.
You remember the white guy's name?
Fucking name was Steve White. Come on, bro. And that's not the character's name. For anybody who thinking I'm saying we named the character Steve White, no, he's our classmate. And his name was Steve White.
That was the dude that drew the
typical white guy.
He drew cars, right?
No, that was the other Steve that drew cars.
It was the other Steve.
That was the other Steve. We had like three white Steves. Yeah, we had three white Steves. That Cocaine Steve drew the cars.
He was Cocaine Steve. Like he was actually fairly talented, but then didn't he stop showing up? Like he didn't finish with us, did he?
He was really good at drawing cars. He said he was trying to get a job with a car company making new models, but then he kept showing up to school high as a kite, saying that he had been snorting cocaine all night and he'd been up for 2-3 days, and then he stopped coming.
Yeah, then he stopped coming. Yeah.
The good old 2000s. Anyway, but yeah, point is, really good film techniques here in this scene. Really good lighting changes and really good. They chose dialogue options that didn't take a lot of brain work to sift through. It's like right to the point. This is what I'm upset about. This is what. There's no ambiguity here. This is man talking effectively. He's talking to himself, and he's being clear and honest with himself. But at the same time, like I said, they both have good points. But they made sure they didn't do it in a way where it ate up a lot of the screen time. It was an appropriate amount of screen time. They didn't make the whole episode about this interaction. It was the right amount of time, and they got out of there with it still up in the air. We don't really know if Mark S. is going to be with this plan.
No, very clearly.
There was no answer. There was no resolution.
And if at that point, by the time he leaves, you'd be leaning towards the end of he's not going to fucking help us at all. Like,
yeah, like he might really go ahead and blow this whole thing up. He might not even complete the file. He don't even give a fuck. Because for him to spell it out before we even move on to the next thing, to spell it out to make
you're
it
about
really
to spell it out because she drops a bunch of bombs next. This is where he flips back and he wants to talk to Harmony. So you're probably about to say everything she was about to say.
No, I was just going to say to spell it out from the perspective of Mark S.
No.
If I help you, I die.
Essentially,
And
that's it.
That's what you,
and that's what I believe happened. I don't care what you tell me. That's what I believe. That's what I believe is going to happen.
Even with the heli of the thing, even with the I care about MDR, I care about Dylan, I care about the other innies and all that other shit. Effectively, you're telling me that if I help you do this thing that seems to be a noble thing to do, I will die. There's no ambiguity to it. And when Mark tried to convince him that reintegration would be a way for him to live on, he wasn't buying that. So in his mind, I'm gone if I do this. Period.
Right.
Oh, also, if I finish this file, they might shut down the Severance floor and we all dead anyway. So in his mind, no matter what, well, if I go back to work, that's it. But then he said, well, he dropped the ultimatum. I don't want to talk to him no more.
Well, yeah, we're skipping over like.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, because Harmony and Mark S talk after that.
Oh yeah,
right before he storms out, and that's a super important conversation.
No, fire away.
That's where she comes in. She's like, she's like, let me talk to him, and she comes in and she's like, the numbers are your wife, and he's like, what?
Oh
yeah. This is where she explains what they were doing with the macro data, which was like one of the huge questions that was answered basically in this episode. Still don't know why or what they're trying to achieve exactly, but we get a better idea. And she said the numbers are your wife. She's every file you've completed has created a different innie. And she's like, the four tempers, woe, frolic, malice, and dread, are the building blocks of her mind. And she says, he says, I've done 24 files. She's like, Cold Harbor is the last. So she has 24 different innies at this point right now. And so she's basically under the understanding that they're going to just be killed. Like just be sacrificed or whatever you think, like dead. Once this file is done, both her and Mark and whoever the fuck else was in there, they're just gonna murder everybody in macro data. You think, except for Helly. So Dylan's gone. Like these people are just gonna go missing from their families on the outside.
I mean,
or are they just gonna be done with it?
Not to harp back on the old theories, because the old theories I was way off and out of space with it, but the only other town we saw was pretty much dead. So I don't know I don't think they would care that much. The company, I mean, they think they're making the world better, and they're like, at this point, they're like Ozymandias and fucking the Watchmen. It's like, I can kill a couple million people if I'm saving billions.
It's definitely, that's the way of that somebody like Jane Egan or Keir Egan would think. Or that way that Keir Egan is projected as thinking. I don't know if we actually meet Keir Egan, if he is going to be what they portray him as. Because look,
season 4, Keir Egan at the final scene, like, what the fuck was y'all doing?
This is a perversion of what
the things that I said. None of this shit.
Right.
Where do goats come from? But anyway.
So they get into like that conversation also doesn't end well because, Patricia Arquette is a great actress and Harmony Cobell really doesn't have any tact for this. She's just going to say what factual information is or whatever that she believes the facts are. She's like, basically, there's no fucking happy ending for you and Helly R. I'm sorry, Mark S. She's an Egan. It's not going to end for you well. And so that just really pisses him off. And she's like, they're using you. He's like, I think you're using me. And that's when he storms out and says, you tell him if the next thing I don't see is the severed floor, you'll never see his wife again. And you can see it just hit Devin when she starts to tear up when he says that. And he's out. And then, dude, the transition, fucking chef's kiss from that point. Because that point we go right into the severed floor. Like the elevator doors come out of the fucking like rocks on the sides as he walks through, and then he's we're Mark S, and we write into the severed floor, opens up into a
big crazy painting,
a brand new painting. It's him raising his hand like a televangelist, and like basically every person he's ever met in the painting. Again, check out New Rockstars. He points out like everybody that's in the painting. It's like,
hey, we're gonna stop shouting out other people's channels.
Well, I mean, you got to take inspiration, but whatever.
Yeah, fuck those guys. We saw the same show. We smarter than them.
Oh well, let's not do that.
Unless they want us on.
Right. Right.
At which point, New Rockstars. But right. Otherwise,
see, this is why I don't like to watch shit like that beforehand. I should have not done it, but again, I was excited. The finale was
it's good. It's always good to like open up,
right,
and catch some other shit that you might not have caught because
I mean, again, like I just didn't pause it. They got editors and they got a whole team of people that pulls that shit apart for them and writes all the episodes. It's fine. Like, yes, we did watch the same show. Yes, if you paused it and look at it, me and you could both have easily have gone and pointed out and named all of the people in the fucking painting.
And we went to the finest strip mall film school in all of the Midwest.
It was literally in the basement of the mall. Like, no fucking, he is not kidding.
Fucking McDonald's upstairs
and how fake it is, how bullshit the school was. I mean, I hate to call it bullshit because I actually did learn quite a bit there from the first few of them classes and from some of them teachers. So I hate to shit on it in that direction, but like the school ended up being bullshit and we got all of our money back.
Got all of the money back, but to be fair,
didn't get it back. I got the loans forgiven. Nobody got money back.
Those of us who applied ourselves have made quite the life for ourselves.
I use a lot of the knowledge that I learned there to do.
But the school was bullshit, though.
Right, fair enough. Right. So yes,
strip mall school,
strip mall design and film school. We were supposed to lean through 3D design.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Oh my God. Anyway, that's a whole nother podcast, actually.
But yeah, okay. He transitions and they're there to he's greeted by this painting.
By the painting, which, like I said, is everybody who's ever known, like the Woe, Frolic, Dread, and thing. The people, the weird dancer people are there. The weird wax versions of themselves that were leading them through the Ortbo were there.
Yeah, up there at the top of everything. This was the culmination of everything they've been doing.
Was the Egan line.
Yeah,
it was like Helly in the middle, and then all of the different like.
Oh, this was the Avatar state,
right?
So all of this happens, but one thing I noticed, the thing that stuck out to me was at that point they was like, "We don't give a fuck about the 15-minute staggered time anymore. We don't care."
Yeah, because Helly came in like right after him.
Helly, right on the elevator, right after Mark. Like that's out the window, and I don't think that's something.
Give me 1 second. I got to change the battery in this headphones. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I don't think that's something that the producers, director forgot. It's just something that I feel like they like. Look, we need Mark Scout in here. Remember, he missed a couple days already. We need him back in here. We need this file finished. We're a day behind our scheduled. Cole Harbor finish, so let's get Mark in here. Let's get this shit done. We know he's not gonna work without Helly. Get her ass in the elevator
right away.
Get in the elevator. We ain't got time to play with that.
Yeah, she was like right behind him. Like it's almost like they had to have been. She parked in a different lot or something because they had to have been coming in like right at the same time.
She just probably watched him from the stairs or from the balcony or that little thing they always overlooking people in. And she saw him walk in and she headed on down like it's time to go.
Fair enough. Right. Yeah, right. Because she could have been watching him from the boardroom or whatever, like wherever those windows are. Here's a question. So they were all working. Were they now has MDR, have they finished 25 files collectively? Like
they had
as a unit, or was just Mark by himself finished 25 files? And if so, what have they been refining?
No, they had to have all been working on Gemma's files. And the reason why I say this is because, like I said on the rewatch, one of the Tumwater specifically.
Okay.
That was the file that Dylan was finishing
Okay, so they are all working on Gemma's files.
Yeah.
Okay, that was just a question I had that I was unclear on. So I'm glad that you're watching season 1 to be able to answer that question.
I think that when he said 25, he was basically saying as a collective, I've been here for 25 files.
So right after she comes out of the elevator, boom, the fucking lights go off and they lead them down the hallway, basically with the lights, like a whole light show. Like the set is incredible with all the different lights and everything. Lead them to the office.
Saw an interview with Tremel, I want to say his name is, the actor for Mr. Milchick.
Yeah, Tremel Tillman.
There you go. And he was saying that stuff is actually there. That's practical. There's no CGI. He said he didn't even know it himself. So they was actually just talking about the first dance experience from season 1.
Yeah.
And he said it
real.
Like, right, he said it's real. So it's
That's
like
dope.
he pressed the button and then the fucking lights is just like, so they built all this in there. This is pretty dope.
It's a badass it's a badass set. So
and the set is actually amazing too.
So dude, I again, I will say again, I know I've said it throughout this podcast, this is a dark comedy. Some of these things are funny. When they walk in and the wax statue is standing there, I literally started kind of gut laughing. Like I was giggling through the whole scene. I was like, this is so fucking dumb. Like, dude, what a creepy fucking thing to do. And then he opens the letter and reads the letter from him. I didn't write down exactly what the letter said, but it was basically like, good old Keir Egan here wanted to see you finish this historic day or whatever.
And Heliar will be here to witness it as well from her seat.
Right.
I like that part of the letter because it was like, sit your ass down.
Right.
Like we don't need no bullshit today.
Right.
We don't need no adventures,
right.
no bullshit. Sit your ass down.
Nobody throwing nothing at nobody. Sit down and watch this.
Sit down. We ain't got time for no bullshit, Helly.
And so when he opens the card, it's like a waffle. It's like a waffle pop-up card. I was like, so they trying to tell him all he's getting is a waffle party? What the fuck?
It's like, if you finish this historic thing and you are such an important person in the history of mankind,
right?
We present you this cardboard waffle.
Waffle, right? Dude, it's crazy. So Mark and Helly sit down and they start kind of whispering to each other and in the dark and basically telling each other, sharing info essentially. You know, because they when they're walking, she's like, I got something to tell you. He's like, I do too. And she tells him about James Egan being there. And he's like, she's like, they're doing this. And he's like, I know why. You know, so they kind of share info. At this point, Dylan arrives to Milchick at the elevator. He's like, he said no. And he's like, all right. And then that's when you walk past him. He walks past the painting, looking at it too. And that's when we get the title of the painting, The Exalted Victory of Cold Harbor. So shout out to Optics and Design for the weird painting. Who do you think did it? You think it was, why can't I remember her name? The lady that was...
scared old lady.
That was with Bert.
Yeah, I just call her scared old lady because every time somebody walk in Optics and Design, she just take a step back like always.
So, yeah, Exalted Victory, blah, blah. So, they're kind of going, Mark and Helly are kind of talking about, what if she's lying, all this, Cobell can't be trusted, she ain't done nothing but lie. But he was like, yeah, but this time she was different, but the same. She's different, same. He's like, I don't know. Just another point where I just kind of laughed. I was like, dude, they're how are they getting me to laugh right now in this eerie, tense situation with this wax statue looking at him? I don't know. I just thought it was great.
I also want to point out too.
And I don't know if I'm supposed to be laughing at the shit or what, but it strikes me funny and I laugh.
I want to point out too. The only light in the room, the light source in the room, is the spotlight on the Egan statue.
And their desk lamps. Their desk lamps. Mark turned on a desk lamp when he sat down.
But that's what I was about to say. The only light is on the Egan animatronic, and then right there at the desk, because the focus is we're going to contain your focus. We're not lighting the hallways. I don't even want you thinking about nothing else. This is where you are. Sit down right here because, you know, we need you to finish this last little 3 or 4% or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was at 96 or whatever when he sat down, right? So it's like 4%. So it's kind of flashing back to like we see Gemma here and there. She's not really saying anything, but she like opens up the thing and it's like a door, like the outfit door that she was getting all her outfits out of. And it's the outfit she was wearing the night she disappeared, died, kidnapped, whatever it might be. Went willingly. We really, I guess, don't know the answer to that at this point. We know she didn't want to be there anymore. Even if she did go willingly, she was misled in some way or another, or lied to, or given some vague Egan description of whatever the fuck that she was getting into, and she didn't know. So, and then we get to like, you know, where he's like, "But I want to live. I want to live with you." Mark tells Helly like he wants, like, I want to live with you. It was a really touching scene, but she's just like, "Yeah, but I'm her." And I know I've been saying it through the whole podcast too, all the episodes, the face acting. She did it. She like changed her face. Like the second or third time she said, "I'm her," she changed her face, and it was Helena for a brief fucking second, you know, and that's when he was like, okay. And this like basically convinces him to finish the file. It's like basically the only way forward, you know? She's like, either way, we're screwed. Like if you don't finish the file, they just turn us off. If you finish the file, like at least you have a chance if you finish the file. You know. So that was an interesting. Get out of here.
But she's been plotting to help him in a different way, not unknowingly. Well, she knew that she was looking for his wife, so we didn't really discuss it. But when she was confronted by James Egan, she was in the middle of studying the map
to the black hallway. Yes, correct.
So she was still dead set on a mission, which was we're gonna find a way to this hallway and we're gonna find this Gemma character. So yeah, that was her focus. Is like, and to be fair, knowing what we know, especially of the Helly R character, she is a little fatalistic. She doesn't really want to be alive. The only reason why she didn't attempt again is because Helena Egan, remember the threat from season 1. If you try to hurt me again, I will keep you alive long enough to regret it. Like, I'm going to torture you. I'm going to make sure. So that was the only thing keeping. And so for her, this might have been a way out. Like, look, we could finish this thing, get this guy's wife out of here, and then I can go. I don't want to be here, period. So
yeah, but
that's
I can definitely see that from her character. But then there's also some part of her that is in love with Mark S.
Oh no, she's in love with him. But this was what the point of what I'm saying is. She doesn't want to be alive. But in that moment when Mark was like, I want to live with you, I want to be with you, and she was like, yeah, but I'm still her, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I'm still ready to let this go, but that planted that seed, like it might be a way. You know what I'm saying? Right. Just that part with him being open and honest with her might have opened her up to the idea of maybe we could find a way to, you know what I'm saying, still be alive and still be together. Because realistically, I think even with the love, the previous episodes of this season, she's like, okay, we love each other. That's cool. I still need to find your wife. We need to get the fuck out of here. I don't want to be here. You know what I'm saying?
It was like that underlying has always been like no part of her has ever been like, all right, like I'm cool.
I'm gonna accept this job and this is just what I'm at. No,
right.
He didn't want that.
No. I would say but some of her lines towards the end might change some of that, or maybe she decided differently with the.
No, she was definitely mulling it over and starting to.
Right.
Dylan.
Right. Go ahead. Right. Yes. You're right. Milchick gives Dylan his response.
So Mark is working on a file, and you see the percentages going up one at a time. You see the guy in Drummond, I forget the weirdo doctor dude name. They're in the other place, and they're watching the numbers go up.
Right.
And they like not happy, but they're like preparing. Okay, this is actually happening for real now. Meanwhile, Milchick walks Dylan to this private office, and he's talking to him, and he's telling him,
it's that same like break room that they were in earlier.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, well here's the your Audi's rebuttal or your answer to your resignation request, and he's like. He said, due to the possibility, I'm not going to direct quote.
He said something about due to the fact you might have an embarrassing response.
An embarrassing emotional response. Right. I'm going to give you some privacy. But when he put the file down, this is the time I start laughing. Yeah. Fucking hilarious. And bear in mind, this is in the middle of the night, and I have a family that sleeps here.
Yeah.
And he put that fucking file down and turned around and took off like Bro, I screamed. I'm like, man, what the fuck?
What the fuck? And he's like, seeing as I'm swamped, I'm gonna leave this to you.
A lot of people, in retrospect, obviously he was in a rush to go do something because Mark was about to finish the file. He got to do this presentation.
Right.
But in the scene, it made it funny as hell because it's like, look, take this paper, gotta go. But this is good character building, good all that. I don't want to keep repeating the same shit, so I won't say it again, but I'll say this. This is excellently done because you follow that up. That was hilarious. And then you follow it up immediately with Dylan opening and reading his letter. And that shit kind of fucked up. And it's sad.
It was sad.
And it was
yeah. And also funny. It made me laugh.
It was funny and sad. It was fucked up, bro. So
right. Go ahead.
I knew you probably wrote it down.
I didn't write the whole letter down. I did.
Okay, well, he basically opened up the letter and he's reading it from Dylan.
I wrote 3 points. The only thing I wrote down was 3 points because I kind of remember what he said.
He wrote it. He starts speaking. He's reading the letter, and it's like, first off, fuck you.
First of all, fuck you.
First off, fuck you out the door.
Right. She's my wife. I love her. But second, I get it.
Yeah, I understand it. Like we share the same physiology, so it's only natural that we be attracted to the same thing. And but here's the thing. I was laughing about it because
what was the other word he used too? Indecorous.
Yeah, indecorous. He likes
actions
words.
Were very indecorous.
But here's the thing. He did the reverse of the compliment sandwich, like in corporate America. They give you a compliment, then they say something bad, and then they give you another compliment to close it out, so you don't feel so bad about the remonstration.
Right.
And the fucking Dylan wrote to his innie, and he did the reverse of the compliment sandwich, just like fuck you, and then it's like, okay, I'm gonna shoot you some bail and tell you, and then it's like fuck you again. You know what I'm saying? It's like, right. I need you down there. I feel better with you down there. I need, basically.
I mean, but if you noticed on the paper, though, okay, so weird thing that I say that. So there was a weird little detail that they threw in there in a close-up of the paper. I don't know if it was intentional. I'm going to say it was intentional. The paper clip mark in the top left of the paper when he opened up from Mr. Milchick with his paper clips. Just made me think of that. And then if you noticed at the bottom when they showed his response, he had not checked either accept or deny the resignation. He left it up to Dylan. G.
Yeah, he did.
So I think the end was kind of like, he was like, all right, listen, but my wife likes what she saw in you down there. She sees you're so self-assured badass, and like maybe I could be that one day. So I feel better about you being there to like, I don't know. I took it like he was like almost inspired by him in a way.
Yeah,
to try to be a better person.
He felt like it's still a part of me that could be the man that she wanted,
be, or was something that she saw in the past. Is kind of how I was thinking of it. Like this Dylan G was like the Dylan that she fell in love with because he was young and he was a shit talker. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Like but never turned out to be like the impressive guy that And then when again they're adolescents, so when he went back to that mindset when he woke up in Severance, he was just like, all right, yeah, I'm him.
Couple that with the fact that he had a well-paying job. So
right.
It's like, yeah.
So yeah,
But
that
yeah,
was.
so, go ahead.
It was a good scene to wrap up that storyline of Gretchen and Dylan. I thought that was a good end, and that didn't
And
end
also,
with anybody dying.
Yeah, it left us with a question of what would happen with Dylan next, and that gave us, the scene where he eventually reappeared. It made that scene all the more better. So yeah,
Absolutely, yes, yeah. So, but we'll get there. So yeah, then we should switch to Milchek. Rushing through the hallway, just taking his tie off, like changing, getting ready to do, what we see coming up next.
do his thing.
So then we cut back to Mark and Helly, and they're kind of having one of those like funny conversations they would have in season 1. But the dumb shit. She's like, I've been trying to think of other places besides Delaware. She said, I got Europe, Zimbabwe, and the equator. And he kind of laughs at her. You like the equator, they just have one of those little like.
And it said the equator might be what is the equator? Is it a big building? Right. Is it a building so big that it became its own country?
Right.
Like they don't know what the equator is. And
exactly.
It's hilarious.
It is hilarious. But like, again, though, that comes back to one of those things that was said during the Mark and Mark conversation when he said, like, nightmare isn't the right word. Like, we find ways to make it work. Like, that little dumb conversation is like one of those ways. Mm-hmm. One of those ways to pass the time. One of those ways to like think about the outside world and joke about it and laugh about, and pass this time that, the only time we have, So I just thought that was like, I just thought about that being like silly but important, It was like a silly conversation they have. And we're like, you guys are fucking stupid. You don't even know what the equator is. But like, shit, man, like that whole little conversation and the way that they bantered like that was really meaningful to them, or is really meaningful to them. So then, right after that, then Coal Harbor is complete. Mark, it's a whole scene and everything, like a cut scene and this and that. But he puts away the last batch and 100%'s that shit. So then we get Drummond calling Dr. Maurer, like, we got to tell the James. Another part that just made me chuckle, dude. Then like we get the old Bulls fucking entry music starts playing.
I was cracking the fuck up.
I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude. I was like, is this like MJ and Scotty gonna come running out into the fucking, wheel wax statues of Michael Jordan and them in there? Right. I was laughing at that, so I thought that was good. And then the wax statue starts talking and moving and shit.
The animatronic
wax statue.
Like they alluded to at the other Lumen base in the earlier part of season 2.
Right. He's super creepy, and he says something about you are an important part of my grand agendum. I'm pretty sure agendum is not a word.
Yeah. We can look
it's
it
like
up.
It's one of those like one of these bullshit made up fucking like mammalians nurturables and shit like that. Like, is mammalian an actual word? I don't know if it is.
Mammalian is definitely a word.
It's just one of these like weird, like out there, even if it is a word, weird out there fucking terms that this motherfucker would use.
Agendum is a singular noun meaning an item on an agenda. Something that is to be done, derived from the Latin.
All right.
I don't want to read that word.
Agendum. Yeah. Then go ahead.
But I felt like, and I could be wrong, but I felt like this was. Well, we get to see it shortly after, in about 10 seconds. I felt like this was a precursor, just the choice of words. This was a precursor of what Drummond, I think Drummond had programmed the speaking for the animatronic.
So do you think it was like being controlled? Or do you like,
I think
in real time? Or do you think it was like,
I think it was live.
I think it was too.
because I felt like he was taking little pot shots at Milchick. And I think it was him just, being a little passive aggressive toward Milchick with the word choices. So saying something like agendum, it felt like, okay, you like using mouthy words and rare vocabulary and vernacular and whatever. So,
well, I think he said that before Milchick came in the room. But yeah, Milchick would have been standing there listening to the performance. But it almost looked like he arrived like a second or two late, though, didn't it? Like he was rushing through the hallway, and then the music started, and then he popped in and did like the thing. Like it was like he was almost like he just fucking made it.
And then they began to interact with one another and do their presentation. And Milchick is reading from the cards. And the reason why I said I feel like it was live is because even though Milchick was reading from the cards, he was reacting to what the thing was saying as though he hadn't expected it to say that thing. And that's why he was taking offense to it in the moment. He was like, I bitch. And it felt like a continuation of the vow of feculence scene where it was like Drummond was like fucking with him like, fuck you, Seth. And then he even called him Seth. He was like, Seth.
Okay, so you think that's a good, I like that assumption, or not assumption, but I like that Drummond was controlling it live. I didn't write that down, but see, dude, I wrote down, I said, this fucking Cure robot basically boys, like, you know what I'm saying, Seth again with the fucking verbose line. Well, aren't you verbose? I'm like, this motherfucker, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I felt like he was just continuing his argument with him. And this is only based
that's great
on Milchick's reaction, because he's reacting like, really, we doing this shit right now? You know what I'm saying? Because he's reading off a card.
Right.
Milchick is reading, there's a script there that he's expecting. If he was expecting him to say this shit, he wouldn't react to it. But he was reacting like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's so funny because it was like he was playing off of the fake crowd reaction. Right. Like it was like the laughing was happening, but it was coming from the speakers on the goddamn in the room and shit or whatever. So, but then Milchick hits him with the like you're larger than life or whatever, and he's like, you talking about my company? He's like, no, this wax statue is 5 inches taller than you actually were.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. And that was an awkward silence after that, like.
This was the scene where I was like, okay, somebody's controlling the robot right now. It's live. He was like, because he paused and that did that creepy little like when his hand moved or whatever, but they didn't show the hands, but the robot just shakes and you hear like the robot move and he's just like, thanks for the feedback, Seth. And I was like, God damn, this motherfucking hates you. Like I hate it. It's so fucking creepy.
Yeah, that was 100% either Drummond or the other dude, but it was most likely Drummond.
I feel like that was I didn't think about that, but that's 100%. Like it seems like it just makes the most sense the way that interaction went, that was Drummond controlling that somehow or whatever. And come on, they definitely have the technology for that. Fuck off. Like this place is insane. Like they could do that. So then we get a new department. We get introduced to the new department.
Something in merriment? What the fuck was it?
Choreography and merriment.
Choreography and merriment.
Right. So this all starts at kind of like a little bit of a montage, maybe?
They start coming down the halls.
Yeah.
A marching band. Now, here's the thing. Most people are focusing, like I'm on TikTok. So on TikTok, you see a lot of edits of this scene with like the Kendrick Lamar audio from the Super Bowl.
Okay.
You see it and some of them are really good, and they got hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views right now. But here's the thing.
The Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl videos, like the people have been doing, are pretty good. Like there's some of them that are really funny.
But here's the thing. This is what I'm thinking as soon as I saw it, the audacity of it, the over exaggeration of joy and all this shit, that's not what I saw. What I saw when I was watching this scene, and the first thing that popped in my head was they're trying to block the hallways. This
is a distraction.
They know the plan. Because realistically, they've been watching them. We've seen that there's a monitor in each computer screen that watches them in macro data.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they're very surveilled.
we've seen that they have, even when Mark S was in wellness with Miss Casey, when he was doing the little wax statue therapy, they showed that there was a tiny camera right there on her desk watching his face as he was doing, well, not wax, but the clay statue or thing. So they're watching them at all times. They know that they had this map. They know that they've been planning on going.
Yeah, I mean, they said there was no surveillance in that room. Like when he made it a point to say that bullshit. Fuck
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's especially considering the fact that, like we said, just even the scene where we just talked about, what's his face, Jamie Egan showing up at the beginning. He came right to where Helly was. It's not like he walked around looking for her. He knew where she was.
Yeah, and we find out later too. There's fucking secret paths through this fucking place too.
They got fucking hallway rooms like in Matrix.
You can't tell me that the one that we saw in this episode was the only one. Bullshit.
The only random door. Way. So that's my point. So when I saw that, as soon as I saw the band, I said, "Oh, they trying to fucking block the hallways. They trying to distract them and make it where they can't go and do the thing that they're attempting to do."
I mean, I can't think of a more distraction than a marching band in a fucking office, right?
In a dance routine coordinated by your supervisor. Your direct supervisor just happened to be a fucking marching band captain with a goddamn baton.
No, he was work. It goes back to and you just made me think of this. Like, he's got to have a yearbook with him. He was a fighting kid in the marching band for the fighting kids, definitely, because he was whole Wintertide, all that shit. Well, that's unconfirmed, I believe, but like, I think he was. It's acted as if he was. I think we determined that last one where you looked up exactly what he said, but like, he gets to determine whether you're Wintertide material, but he never said if he was part of it. But like, I'm assuming with these skills that he is displaying at this moment that yes, he was part of
but think about
fighting
this.
Kid marching band.
You go in for a job interview and they say you got the job. You're gonna be severed. You're not gonna know what you do. Okay, that's fine. You go in for work and you come home. Your fucking hands are aching. Like aching, your fingers, you feel like you have early onset arthritis. You don't know you in there playing the shit out the tuba all day.
All day.
Like you and this motherfucker for 8 hours a day doing shit but playing the tuba.
That's such a good point, dude. That's such a good point.
You got the trombone,
jaw, everything. Everything is sore all up in here. Like, what is going on? What are they doing to me?
You like, man, what's wrong with my goddamn jaws? Why my goddamn jaws hurt? You in there playing a goddamn trumpet like Dizzy Gillespie for 8 straight hours every fucking day. Like, what? That's insane. Like,
you got shoulder problems from playing the trombone and shit.
You know how much you got to be getting paid to ignore the fact that you got jaw pain every time you fucking come home? Like, cause I'm gonna want to know. Like, if I fucking come home and my fucking face hurt and my jaws hurt, I'm gonna be like, hey, I don't think I'm coming in.
Listen, what's going on in here? You're gonna have to tell me a little something, or give me something to believe so that I can believe what I might believe is happening is not happening.
Yeah. Right. Also, we all live in Lumen housing, so when I get home, I'm going outside to cut the grass or something. I'm gonna be like, hey, your jaws hurt yesterday. You know,
right?
What the fuck is going on? What the fuck? I'm not going to work tomorrow, bro. I'm about to move. Like, the fuck out of here.
That shit is wild.
All right, but yeah. So no, they dancing around. Mark and Helly are looking for an out. They're looking at each other significantly while at the same time looking at all this crazy shit that's going on. They looking like,
the
okay, what the fuck do we do right now?
The ceiling. When they finished like the dance number and they all put the signs up in the air and it was like Mark 100% with like the drawing on it and shit. Like, fuck.
Bro,
dude, so during all this though, Mr. Egan, Jamie Egan, like arrives on a whole new floor. That's like one room. And he sits down. They're like, hello, Mr. Egan. It's time for the efficacy test to begin.
Yeah, what the fuck is that? Now they saying the efficacy test for Gemma. Did him finishing Cold Harbor We testing for the efficacy, but why does he have to go and watch the test in a separate room? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
well, even with some little control board with like 4 buttons on it. I didn't mean to cut you off about the marching band thing, but it was like I think this kind of happened like during that. Like
yeah, no, it was the
flashing
same
back
thing.
and forth. So yeah, so that was weird. And then like so then it goes back to like then Helly runs up and snatches Mr. Milchick's radio, cutting him off from communicating, you know, for with anybody else, basically. And then they trap him in the bathroom. But the marching band sees all this happening, clearly.
They keep playing.
They keep playing. The band must play on.
Well, they've been practicing this shit for 8 hours a day for the last 2 years.
2 years.
2 years straight,
So
8 hours a day, nothing but trombone. I'm gonna fucking play the trombone, bitch. This is what I do. This is what I've been here for. And I was told, and again, I think it was a distraction anyway, because I think they were told to just come in and fucking play and don't stop. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that was the specific instructions. No matter what happens, you keep playing.
Just keep fucking playing.
Right. So he followed they did what did their job then. They followed instructions even while he was being trapped in the bathroom. So then we get to see Drummond arrive in the black hallway. Basically. He comes out of the black hallway, faces the wall directly across from the door, and kind of like slaps his hands up against it. And a new secret room opens up. And I was like, oh, shit, that opens up a whole nother can of worms. Because these motherfuckers are running around looking for doors. Not knowing it's a whole nother subset of doors that they don't even know exist. So I just thought that was crazy. That was like a one of those holy shit kind of weird little moments for me in the episode where I was like, oh, what the fuck, man? This place is a maze, and it's been like... we don't know like where any of these other doors are. Like, how could you possibly know? Like, oh shit.
This is why they don't subcontract their doors.
So Mark escapes. Right. Oh my God, they build their own fucking doors. Dre, genius. Goes back to the hubris.
They don't subcontract their fucking doors because we got to make some of these bitches secret.
We got to make them secret doors, and that way the only shit that's so funny.
Yeah, so Mark's in the bathroom.
Yeah. Mark
takes off.
Yep. He's looking
now, while he's running, we get to see Milchick think that he can Hulk up. So Milchick is wrestling his way out of the bathroom while Helly is trying to wrestle the door closed.
Yeah, he's pulling the door. And
he's pulling and she's pulling. And Milchick should be stronger than Helly, and he's about to overpower her. And then I'm not going with the running order. I don't know if this happened immediately after, but it wasn't a long struggle between Milchick and Helly, because out of nowhere, a fucking vending machine comes out of nowhere, and it's goddamn Dylan.
No, that was later on. Yes, they're struggling. He does overpower her essentially, or the door breaks or something, and he falls backwards, and the door is open.
Right.
And he's like, "Helly, where's Mark?" But I think that happens later on later on in the episode. It all starts happening really fucking fast from here on out. Yeah. So Mark's looking. Then we see the doctor leading Gemma to the Cold Harbor room. We see Mammalia's nurturables with the goat walking through the hallways, all like flashing, like it's just all happening. We're like kind of like, what the fuck? Yes. Oh no, you're right. Okay, so then here the very next thing is Dylan. Yeah, Dylan with the vending machine comes, and then they trap Seth again in the bathroom with the vending machine now. So he at one point he tries to go up and over it, and she snatches a trombone from somebody.
She started putting trombones and instruments.
She hit him with it though. She hit him in the face with it to get him off the top of it.
Everybody get a hit.
They start cramming instruments into above the thing. So they take Gemma to the Cold Harbor
episode that everybody's been waiting for.
The what?
I said this is the head bonk episode everybody's been waiting for. Yeah. Everybody get one tap to the forehead in this episode.
Right.
And even the guy who didn't get hit this episode, he still had a bandage on his head from when he got hit by Gemma in the other episode.
Yeah, he had the lumen band-aid.
They already got me, so you don't have to hit me today. I'm good.
I don't need anybody. I don't need any head bumps.
You got me.
So James is watching Gemma. She enters the Cold Harbor room at this, like right after the vending machine thing. They show Gemma entering the Cold Harbor room. The Severance camera thing happens. And James, Egan, and the Dr. Mauer with the Band-Aid are watching her. And then we go to her bringing the goat to Mr. Drummond, who's in the secret. She brings the goat to the secret room that we just saw. And he says...
Oh, and just point out, before you go too far.
Yeah.
She knows about the secret door. So some other departments might know things that other departments 100%. Don't. Or not might, they do. She knows about the secret door. She walked straight to it. It's not like he waved her down in the hallway or something like, come this way. She went straight there. This is something that's routine. She knows this place.
Yes, and she's done this before and taken her baby goats. Right. Yeah. So she brings a goat with the most verve and wiles in its flock, because he asked her that. She's like, does it have verve? She says the most in its flock. Does it have wiles the most in its flock? And I kind of looked up the definitions of those words, and it's like verve is like something to do with having like passion and creativeness and this and that, and then wiles is like deception and being able to like deceive somebody or make them do what you want them to do. Mm-hmm. And it was just weird. There's like these weird, very specific words for a goat. Like goats.
Well, yeah, we still leaning into the religious iconography and the cultish type behavior, because this is not a scientific procedure here. The science is done with the severance part. The science is done with the with Cobell's technology and the experiments with seeing the effectiveness of it.
Well, because even
the religious cult side is this shit.
Well, and then even like on the sacrificial like pedestal thing, did you see like the fucking weird like hieroglyphs that were on the fucking like pedestal?
Just some weird religious mumbo jumbo.
See, so like a religious like sacrificial altar, but in a fucking very scientific lab doctor oriented room. It's a very weird mashup of things here. So he says to her, this goat will be entombed with a cherished woman whose spirit it must guide to Kier's door. Is it up to the task? And she says, yes. And he goes and grabs, it's like a livestock gun off the wall. It's that's what they use to humanely dispatch of livestock. And humanely, right? It's a giant spike shot. Quotes, but I did them too. You were looking down. I did air quotes too. So he wants to sacrifice the goat. They put him in the thing. Like it's got a little thing where just his head sticks out. It's such a weird, hyper specific room. This room was made and built secretly just for sacrificing baby goats.
Small goats, yeah, exactly. And apparently at this point, we know that this is confirmation that they were lying to Gemma about they were misleading Gemma with the line, the world will see you. I think that this was the point in which they was going to raise her to exalt her to a point of sainthood. They were going to use her and make her one of their martyrs.
In the paintings and all that.
Put her in front of and put her out in front of the public as a Virgin Mary type figure.
And okay, I'm even going to further that by saying they've already started doing it with Mark, with the exalted thing. You're right on the money with that, because that leans right into the painting we saw when we got off. The thing.
They was going to make her a religious figure and Mark as well, in order to make them the face of this is how they're expanding the religion. And not to get too far into that. Matter of fact, I will delete the comment from my brain because I don't want any religious people to get angry. So I'll keep it to myself. Never mind.
Right. And anybody who religious might be watching. Neither one of us are religious people, but like it's like you don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah, but I don't want to. I don't want to beef, so I just leave it.
Yeah, I don't want to beef. Yeah, I don't want to argue with somebody in the comments for fucking hours about religion. That sounds exhausting. But so somewhere in there's a scene where they tell Gemma that Dr. Maurer leads her into the room, says, enter the room, and he wants her to take apart the crib. This is obviously a poke at her most emotional thing.
This is the hardest thing she's probably ever had to do. So let's see how effective this
if we can is. If we can really elicit this emotional response and how good this chip is by putting her in front of the most emotional thing that's ever happened to her in her life, losing her pregnancy, losing her child, right? Mm-hmm. So then it's cutting back and forth between that and the secret room. And then, so right before he put the livestock gun to its head, it says whatever words he's supposed to say, and then there's like a bump outside the door, and it's Mark S. trying to get into he found the black hallway.
And he was trying to climb over the thing because his key card didn't work.
He's kicking the door. He's trying to climb the door frame, and then Drummond just comes out the secret door behind him and interrupts it, and then the episode fucking starts, baby. Holy fucking shit.
To be fair, I did not think that. I can't say for certain. A lot of times I can say that this scene was an homage to something else. I can't say for certain it was, but this felt like the scene in the second Matrix movie when the backdoor hallway and the Smiths were coming out of the doors. For some reason, that's what this scene felt like. Like you got this white hallway, and then this guy just appears from a door behind you. It's like,
Mark was like not looking that way either. So like, he just appeared he didn't see that door open. He might have heard something happen, but he didn't see the door open and shut. And he's like, "Oh, Mr. Drummond, I was just blah blah," and he tries to like walk away, and dude, he just grabs him, throws him up against, and just throws one of the best sucker punches in motherfucking TV history.
Yeah, and you know why he did it?
I know that's funny, but it was just
because we don't need you no more, bitch.
So
you're done. And there's no break room. We don't have to explain shit no more. You're not going home.
You're going.
I'm about to knock you the fuck out.
All that's going to be left of you is fucking whatever these fucking weird paintings that O&D's making. And dude, he just gets it to him. They got the sound effect right. It was not they didn't use that cheesy like sound effect you hear in a lot of fucking movies and shit when somebody punches somebody. It was that fucking meat hitting meat, good fucking smack. And he just starts beating the shit out of him, dude. Like,
he fucking
throwing him up against the wall. Mark gets a bite in somewhere, but that's, I guess, how you would expect to fight a giant man.
Stop. You're going too far.
I am? Why?
Well, there was something that preempts what happens in this scene. And obviously the people that's watching this already saw it, but I just want to point it out that they didn't just make this happen. It wasn't a Deus Ex Machina, as they say. This was literally the Brienne of Tarth, when he had said, is the goat up to task for leading Gemma to Kier? She said yes, but then when he got the thing off the wall, he asked her, will you give its life?
Yes.
And she said, how many more do I have to give? She showed you right then. She loves these goats. This
dude,
is all
her face twitched and everything when he said
she did not want to kill this baby.
Right, you're right.
She was tired of it.
Right, and now from what we understand, these people might not get to go home.
I don't think they have an outside life.
There. They don't have an Audi. They might just be down there all the time. So the goats
Petey alluded to that in season. Petey alluded to that in season 1, like the second episode. So he pretty much laid that on the table right from the jump of the show.
So those goats are her life then, her babies. That's what she cares the most about, given what little existence they have in there. So I can understand her face acting. I hate to keep harping on it, but she did that little twitch with her face when he's like, however many they're called. She's like,
however many whatever the fuck he said, how many the creator wants or whatever.
So yes, Mark gets a bite in. He kind of gets away from him. The way Drummond like throws his coat back on, all fucking angry, like this little biting ass motherfucker gets down on him and just starts choking him. He's gonna choke him out. He's gonna murder Mark Scout right here in the fucking hallway. Was that the order from on high, or was he acting just in their best interest at the moment, seemingly?
Well, I don't think it mattered to him. He knows what's happening. He's in the know. He's not like Cobell. He's like Helena, and he's like Kier Egan. He knows what's happening. He knows the people's importance. Mark is no longer important.
Okay.
I'm gonna beat the shit out you right now. And plus, I'm pissed off because Seth told me to vow a feculence. So,
fun fact: to take all this pent up anger out on somebody.
I think this is the scene that Adam Scott was alluding to in the interview. Some people have speculated that this was the scene in which he got a concussion on set. I think when Drummond grabbed him by the leg and like swung him around and slapped him up against the wall.
Yeah.
I think he actually got a concussion in that moment in real life. So that's cool.
Dude, the shit look like that didn't look like there were any wires or anything attached to him. Like Adam Scott was just like, go ahead.
Skinny dude fight. Yeah. This is what it actually looks like, unless the skinny dude is a really good Brazilian jiu-jitsu artist. He was getting his ass whooped.
Oh, Mark has he got a bite in.
Yeah, it was a realistic version of what a big dude does to a little dude. He was fucking.
And also, if you throw into the fact that Mark S is a child,
that part too.
This is not someone who's ever experienced any kind of confrontation like that.
But to be fair, I think outside Mark would have got his ass whooped too.
Fair enough. Yes, agreed. But it might have been in a fight before.
Right, he might have thrown 2 punches and then got his ass.
Right,
but no.
He was a World War I history teacher, so probably not been in a lot of fights.
He was choking the shit out of him, and Mark is about to go into the briny abyss, and he's about to go to Davy Jones' locker.
The shadow banished to the fucking shadow realm.
And then the very first, and I pray last mistake in the entirety of the Severance series. She put the bolt gun to Drummond's head to get him to stop, but they did the like she cocked it.
Yeah,
it
was already cocked.
First, it was already cocked. Secondly, that's not how guns work. I hate Hollywood for this shit.
Yeah.
They feel like every time you show a gun move, it has to cock again.
It has to make a sound.
Stop it. Yeah. Guns don't make noise. How do you fucking think, like...
There would be a
we have military units that go out, like, you think SEAL Team 6 walking around and every time they move is like... like, these motherfuckers are stealth. They running around killing people in the dead of night, in the quiet, with fucking night vision goggles on, and they guns just keep cocking for no reason. What the fuck? Please stop doing this. We are adults. We are not stupid people. You don't have to make that noise every time you show a fucking gun being put to somebody's head.
The thing is, this wasn't even like a real gun.
And it was in that part.
It's not even like this is This stuff, I don't even know that thing. It does. It might fire like a 22. No, you know, like those like you ever use like a cement the device that puts the nails in the cement with the little 22 bullet is something like that, because he did load something
that's what
into
it is.
But yeah,
but the moving mechanism is literally the fucking pin at the top that he already pressed in when he fucking picked it up.
Right.
So my whole point
there's no clicking.
As great as this scene is, I hated that part. I hated it. There's
no clicking.
Please stop fucking doing it.
Right.
But she put the gun to him,
right,
effectively stopping him from killing Mark. She said no more. She don't want no more killing. She's tired of it. And
so what does he reach up and like slaps slaps it out of her hand?
He kind of backhands her like, goofy bitch, you don't know how to use it. You know what I'm saying?
And then he said, don't bring the shit out of him.
No, wait. He said, don't bring a gun to a Drummond fight. And just then he jumped up and he started putting hands on my girl.
dude.
I didn't appreciate it. I
I'm
understood
sorry.
it cinematically. He
Watching
had to do it.
watching
I
Glenn
didn't appreciate it.
watching
Don't put
Glenn
your hands on it.
watching Gwen Christie beat the shit out of another giant bearded white guy was fucking great, man.
She took the first few hits.
She's the bearded man killer.
She took the first few hits.
She
And
did.
then I think in her head she regressed back to Brianna Tarth and remembered that she was a highly trained knight of the realm.
She like hit him, and she like kicked him in the nuts or kicked him in the stomach or something, didn't he? And then she's like,
kicked him in the nuts to get some listen, man, this is real fighting shit. Create some space. She got him down low. Boom. All right, he backed up against the wall. Now she on the attack. Open him up. She fucking him up. She beat the dog shit out this boy.
She got him on the ground. And then Mark helps. He's the only thing, he reaches up and grabs his tie and just pulls back on it, starts choking him. And then she just gets on with the fucking UFC fucking hammer fist, screaming, bow, bow, bow.
I legitimately thought that she had killed him right there with her bare hands.
I thought she's gonna kill this man right here with her bare hands.
I thought she went into some goddamn UFC ground and pound shit. Like the ref was not breaking the fight up. He wasn't showing no intelligible defense. He wasn't putting his hands up. She was just fucking him up.
Well, so like if anything, he was reaching up to try to pull the tie from his neck that Mark was pulling on.
But she fucked him up. So that was pretty good.
Yeah. And
so now Mark has the gun. The rabbit has the gun.
So listen, we've seen it all. We've seen all the shows. Game of Thrones did some of the most sadistic shit to characters in that show. I mean, like, I'll never forget the sound of Prince Oberyn's teeth hitting the ground. Like, that was, listen, we're not gonna get into all that. But why the violence in this show? This hallway fight was so fucking shocking. Because it literally came out of nowhere. Okay, yes, we know that they do not have good intentions for Mark and Gemma. I did not see this coming at all. This is not characteristic of this show. This is not a violent show.
All of the propaganda paintings that they were dispatching to the different departments to get them to distrust the other departments.
Yeah.
All of those shits came true. It was self-fulfilling prophecy. So it was fucking hilarious. Oh, real side note.
Go ahead.
I'm on the rewatch, and we were talking about this season, and we were talking about how weird the GOAT people were, and the GOAT people asked Helly and Mark to show their stomachs, and she was like, see, no pouches. And we was like tripping, like, what the fuck was that about? But then when you go back to season 1, we completely missed that shit. In season 1, Bert literally tells Irving that the rumor about MDR is that they have pouches and that they have larval offspring that attack people. Yeah, it was a callback, but we didn't even fucking catch it.
Well, that was because, we should have watched. I was saying it from the beginning. We should have rewatched season 1.
And to be fair, all of this was all propaganda. These people weren't making this shit up.
No.
This was fucking Cobell and Milchick because they had a code for it. Because Milchick was the one who put the painting of MDR being attacked and slaughtered by Optics and Design. He planted that in the printer so Irvin could get it. And then as soon as it came out, Irvin was looking like, what the fuck? And Milchick popped up in the room and he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. That print was sitting somewhere else and it somehow showed up here. So when he went back to the office, Cobell was like, did you do a 913 on MDR? And he was like, yeah, I thought it was prudent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
so
they had a code for this. This is how they operate to make sure the departments don't go and seek each other out. Is fucking weird. But anyway, Mark gets the gun.
Yeah, so you said the rabbit has the gun.
No.
That's not true. She picks up the gun. She goes to shoot him. She's like, this ends now.
Oh yeah, he said, wait. I need him because right. Cool. All right, so we were at Gwendolyn Christie, aka Goat Lady, aka Brianna Tarth, being told not to kill Drummond. Mark need him to save his wife.
Right.
She remembers this quest because they had already previously went down to the GOAT room and had the pictures of Miss Casey.
Right.
Looking for her. So here we go. Now, this is my favorite part of the entire episode. Fight was good. Coordination of merriment and joy bringing or whatever the fuck they call. That was great. I knew the lighting
choreography and merriment. Yeah.
Choreography and merriment. All of this was great. Helly conversation with Mark while he was finishing. All this is great. This is the culmination of the entire series of Severance for me. Because it showed the fundamental flaw in severing somebody and having them split temporally. You don't know what's happening when you're not there. So he gets on the elevator with Drummond because Drummond can open the elevator.
Right.
And he gets on the fucking elevator with Drummond and he's holding the goddamn bolt gun to his neck. He looks out at Gwendolyn Christie, who presents the most beautiful picture of a psycho bitch that I've ever seen. She's covered in blood.
Holding a goat.
And she's holding a baby goat and she's smiling like a fucking maniac. And she's like...
Yeah, but she's smiling because Emil thanks you.
Emil thanks you. And he like, what? And she like, Emil's so the good. Goat. And it's like... right. That... I fucking love it because you understand. So he don't know nothing about that goat. He don't give a fuck about that goat. But she has a relationship.
Everything.
She has a relationship with it. This is her Helly R. This is her fucking Gemma. This is her quest. And she was about to have to kill the thing that she loved. And she was like, fuck this shit. I'm going to beat this bitch to a fucking pulp. And then she's covered in blood and she don't care. She's happy as shit.
She's happy. She's going to take her goat back to her goat room and they're going to be all right.
Bro, Emil thanks you. So that was fucking epic. And then the thing
hey, listen. That's a shirt.
Emil thanks you with her bloody face holding the goat. Yeah,
do your own like you've been doing with the refiner.
What's today's date? Today is the 22nd. Emil's shirts with Emil thanks you shirts will be on Shop with Your Boy at Etsy.com on the 24th of March. This will be Monday. ShopWithYourBoy.com. Cool. I will post the link in the comments, top of the comments. Here, she says goodbye. The elevator closes. Mark S is holding the bolt gun to Drummond's neck. The fucking elevator goes down.
He starts to give him instructions. He's like, all right, when we get there, you're going to do this. Blah, blah,
this is what's going to happen. And the fucking consciousness shift. And Mark, he wakes up with a gun in his hand as he's squeezing the fucking trigger. And he wakes up. Think about this shit, bro. This motherfucker said, dude told me the next thing I see isn't the 7th floor, you'll never see your wife again. That being he drove home with his sisters, Devin.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He went and put on some fucking clothes. He put on his jacket.
Shaved.
He put all his shit together. He drove to the Lumen building. He put on his fucking shoes at the locker like he always do. He take off his snow boots and put on his shoes. And he went to the elevator and then he woke up and murdered a motherfucker in half a second.
What? Like not woke up and murdered. Woke up murdering somebody. Like
he woke up murdering the motherfucker. Like he in the heat. As soon as he gains consciousness, he's in the shit. There's no time to think.
On his face, it was bananas.
He has an open artery, a major artery squirting blood on his face in his fucking elevator with Drummond. And I thought, yeah, that makes perfect sense because that would happen. As illogical as the show might be, that would logically happen.
Dude, it made perfect sense.
It made perfect fucking sense.
And it was another one of those things like the punch in the face. I just and I guess it's you're in the moment, and it just that thought didn't cross my mind as he was standing there giving him instructions and you see him switch and then just click. There's the click that makes noise.
Yeah.
Like you're like
that's when it makes noise.
I was like, did he shoot? Did he? Oh my god! And I literally jumped out of my chair. I was like, oh shit! Like
it was fucked this boy's throat up.
Oh my god! Dude.
And Drummond is bleeding like a
pulls
stuck pig.
The spike that comes out of it. He pulls it out of his neck.
He's bleeding his stuck pig, and he is covering Mark in his own blood. Drummond falls out of the elevator. His feet block the elevator from closing.
And now we're in Resident Evil.
Mark steps off, and he has to get to work. He already know he in the shit. There's no time to look around. Nobody to find. I'm in the shit right now. This is it.
This is it. And see, also though, like I don't know if he would have expected that, but like he expected to wake up. Like that was part of the plan. Mark expected to wake up on the testing floor to go find Gemma. That was like the plan.
Right. He didn't expect to wake up killing a
motherfucker that he's never seen before.
Facts.
Just a stranger in an elevator and there's just blood everywhere. I don't know. It was absolutely bonkers.
It was insane. And listen, people have tried to do this scene before. Marvel, most notably. Marvel did it with Moon Knight. And Moon Knight would regain conscious, and he would be holding. He would regain consciousness, and he would be holding like a bloody knife or some shit, or he would be holding a pistol and be like, "Oh, where the fuck did they get that from?" Like, no, this is how it's done. You wake up, oh, dead, oh shit, like. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
It was so good.
It was so good. And like I said, again, and that we had just left like the violence that like the unexpected, uncharacteristic violence of the show we like that happened just before that. And then this happens instantly afterwards. And it's just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, and holy shit, our main protagonist is covered in blood. This is not what this show looks like. So it was a complete and utter escape from what we're used to seeing.
So Mark is he's gonna make his way down this hall. Meanwhile, let's cut back to Milchick, and Milchick is backing up against the wall of the bathroom and running full steam ahead and monkey kicking the fucking door, trying to get this damn this vending machine out of the way. Dylan and Helly are laid up against it with their backs to it, trying their best to keep Milchick.
Marching band's still fucking playing.
Yeah, and the marching band has not
quit.
This is what they practice for, bro.
They gotta get the whole performance out.
They gonna do this shit. So he's kicking the shit out of the door. He's kicking it. And I want to say at that point, Helly stepped away. And Dylan was the only one that... No, Helly got hit because he pushed one of the instruments or some shit, and it like knocked her back.
And he screamed from inside the bathroom. He told him to quit and go back to the department.
Quit and go back to their department.
That's when the music stopped.
And the music stops. Now Helly steps away, and she goes into her speech.
Yeah, in another one of my favorite lines, man, she fucking killed it. She like explains to these people, she's like, you know, there used to be 4 desks here. Like, our friend Irving is gone. I know you've lost friends. Like, I know you've seen him do it. You know, like, they thought, in the last line, she says, they give us half a life and think we won't fight for it. And then she looks over and makes like eye contact with Milchick through that little crack, and she's like, "Right, Mr. Milchick," you know. And I just thought another fucking boss ass scene from fucking Helly R. In that she turned. This is her last ditch effort to turn all these people against Mr. Milchick.
Right. She was. This was her like, look, we can't hold him back. And if y'all leave, we're going to die.
All of us.
If he gets out, we're going to die. You're going to die. All of the departments that you don't even know about, these people are dead. We cannot let him leave.
Right.
Yeah.
And they immediately start buying it. They're like looking around at each other like, this bitch is right. We need to, I don't know.
Yeah, what happened to Tommy? He used to play the drums.
And then it goes into another like funny. Why is there so many funny scenes? Like there was a lot of comedy. Dude, the fucking him in why can I not remember this woman's name?
Because she was famous when you were a child.
This is true. But what is her name?
I can't remember her name because she was famous when I was high. I'm a little bit older than you. I was already in my weed bag.
I see her name come up on the credits every week.
Sandra Bernhard.
Sandra Bernhard. So the little screaming match, she was like, "Where's the fucking door?" She's like, And they just
open it. Now this shows that Mark doesn't know what this fucking thing is, and this is Mark Scout. This is Mark Scout.
Yeah, this is
He knows he kills. He knows he kills somebody with it, but he's not familiar with farm equipment. He doesn't know about euthanasia of animals. He's just pointed at it like, I just killed the motherfucker with this shit. I'll kill you with it.
I don't even know that she knows what it is. She's just like,
she might not know what it is. Like, she was scared, but she was still like, I'm not fucking opening the door. Open the fucking door. I'm not opening the fucking door. Open the door. I'm not opening the fucking door.
So good. It was so funny.
So now remember, this door is DNA coded.
This is the most genius scene in the fucking.
Yeah, this was dope. The door's DNA coded. First of all, they showed her. That bitch got to be the strongest bitch on the planet because you put your same finger in that same spot and keep getting injected in that same spot every fucking day. Multiple times a day.
But they showed her finger.
They showed scars on her finger.
When she let Gemma into the Kohar room, they showed it like poker, and you even see her like kind of eat the pain a little bit, you know.
Yeah. That's fucking nasty work, man.
So, and I'm telling you, man, that little thing.
And then this one, they made sure they got a close up and showed you the scar tissue around.
Yeah,
it's like, God, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
just fucking. Can I put another hand there or something? Jesus, can we switch fingers? So, but the point is DNA coded. You can't open the door without.
So she runs away.
She took off.
Yeah,
he can't kill her. He's not about to kill her. His first kill on the map was accidental. He got an assist kill.
Totally, yeah. He that was an accident.
Right, this is completely accidental, but he had to play off of it because he's trying to get in his fucking room. But anyway, long story short, he puts his hand up there, gets stabbed, don't work. He thinks about it. Oh shit.
He looks down at his
DNA coded. He's real smart. They show, they don't tell. DNA coded. I got this dude's blood all over me. He might be an important person. He got on a fucking suit.
Powers of deduction.
The straight deduction. Right. I got to get to work. Like again, I just killed the motherfucker. I just punched in and I killed the motherfucker.
Right.
So I put my hand up there so the reader can come down and put the tie up there, and it reads Drummond's DNA and lets him in the door. And then we get the scene that started my emotional roller coaster. So fuck you, Severance.
Yeah, this was really good stuff. He finds Gemma, but at this point, she doesn't know who he is.
And she just want to add this real quick so we don't skip over it. Not for nothing, but apparently the 25th file was successful in the Severance chip in its current iteration with Gemma is successful. Nothing about that scene with her taking apart that baby carriage elicited any emotional reaction. Nothing about that scene made you think that she was in some kind of emotional distress.
What's up, dude?
Dad, we were walking around Feather Rock, and we were sitting outside a friend's house talking to him, and we walked down the street, and we saw two kids, and they said they were running from the cops, and we didn't, and apparently a house was kicked in, or something like that, and they have all of our information and stuff. We didn't do anything, I promise you, Dad, and...
Okay, get your ass back to the house now.
I'm coming, Dad. I don't know.
Now.
We didn't do anything, no.
Okay, well, if you didn't do anything, then nothing will happen.
No, it's a shame.
And they'll figure out that you didn't do anything. But this is why I don't want you out there walking around like that.
I hope nothing will happen, Dad.
Okay, bring your ass. You better not have done nothing stupid. That's all I got to say to you. Bring home. Listen, I'm recording a podcast. Get home now.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, I'll deal with that in a minute.
I too am a parent, so let's put the rush on it. Because I know you got shit to do now. So, But my point was, Gemma is not showing any emotional response to this stimuli that they provided her with taking apart the baby carriage, the exact same one she had to take apart when she lost her pregnancy. So, this shit is successful.
Right.
All indicators say that they're going to move ahead with this, even if the events of the show happen the next season. They're going to move ahead with this new chip. Now, Mark is stepping in to the room. He sees Gemma from behind. She's still taking apart this thing. And the doctor had already alerted people. She was like screaming. It's the other doctor came, the dude in the room. He was like, it's the fucking spouse or something. Somebody yelled, it's the fucking spouse.
Dr. Maurer, yeah.
Yes, that shit was hilarious.
He called Mr. Drummond. He's trying to get
let's call Drummond. They don't know Drummond is not going to answer.
No.
So, Mark says, Gemma. She turns around and she's instantly afraid. She don't know this face. She hasn't seen this face ever. And he's covered in blood with what looks to be a weapon in his hand. And She jumps up and she's about to defend herself with the screwdriver. She don't know what the fuck is going on. Long story short, this is my emotional roller coaster. I was fucking happy. I was smiling like a fucking school kid when he saw her, because there was a couple of minutes there I thought he might not even make it to that floor, let alone that room. I'm smiling like a son of a bitch. Gemma is he's talking to her. I'm your husband. We gotta go. Blah blah blah. Whatever the fuck. James Egan's voice comes over the speaker and says, "Don't talk to that man. He's not part of the program." Some other shit.
Yeah,
basically
he's telling the speaker, telling her to leave him alone. Yeah.
Yeah, don't speak to that man. He's not part of the program. Blah blah blah. Whatever the fuck.
He's here to hurt you.
He's here to hurt. Yeah. We don't need you all interacting, which to me was weird because at this point you already know the efficacy of the fucking test. It worked. It was done. At that point, it really didn't matter. But whatever. He said, don't talk to him. Mark convinces her to go. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Mark convinces her to go. He says, I'm your husband. We got to get out of here, blah, blah, blah. Takes her by the hand. She accepts the hand, and they walk towards the threshold. He walks out. She stops. She knows she's supposed to stop because she's still, this is probably the only room she's ever been because this is the 25th Audi. Her whole existence was right here in this room just now. She just started existing. She's been alive long enough to dismantle a baby carriage.
Yeah.
She finally accepts him saying, come on. And when she stepped out, she's Gemma again. She sees Mark and she like, oh shit. So now I'm super smiling like,
yeah.
Bro, I'm so fucking happy. It's ridiculous. First of all, I'm not a romantic comedy. Well, I'm a romantic comedy dude. I'm not a romantic movie dude. I've never watched a romantic movie in my entire life.
Yeah, but this is different. This is not the same thing.
This is not different. You know what I mean? This is different. This is not those movies. So I didn't get the vibes of like The Notebook or one of those traditional romantic type movies. This was love. And this is a woman who's seeing her husband who she didn't think she was going to see again. And this is a husband who's seeing his wife he thought was dead for 2 years. I'm happy as shit. I'm smiling like a motherfucker. The goddamn Mark say, let's go. They make their way down the hall. Drummond's body is in the way. The people are coming to get him. And right as they get in the elevator, the doctor and the other motherfuckers is running down the hall, and he throws Drummond's legs out the way. The elevator closes. She screams some shit. I can't remember what it was. Elevator closes.
It was almost reminiscent of the end of season 1 when he's running up to the elevator and he goes, "You'll kill them all!"
Right.
And then the door closes.
And the elevator starts moving. They both activate and go. They change into Mark S. and Mrs. Casey. Mark S is looking like, okay, here, Miss Casey, I've accomplished my thing. I got Miss Casey out of the thing. Miss Casey is like, Mark, what's going on? You know, what's happening? She's confused. He's like, well, he kind of basically explained it to the best degree that he can explain it to her. Like, look, we got to get you out of here. You're not supposed to be here. They get off the elevator, and she almost started leading him back to the MDR elevator. I don't know if you noticed that, but it felt like she took the lead a little bit. Like, I can help you get there faster or some shit. You know what I mean? They make their way to the elevator, and once they get there, I'm not the elevator. They're going to the stairwell. That's what they were supposed to go to. They headed to the stairwell. Milchick is out. He's on the loose.
No, he's not. He got cornered by the
band. Okay,
yeah. They all said that last scene we saw him was he busted out, knocked. They made it look like the vending machine was about to fall on Dylan because he knocked Dylan over right before, and then he kicked it again and it fell over. And Dylan was standing there with the whole marching band line. I'm like, fuck you, Mr.
Right. They
Milchick.
did actually stick around. They stopped playing and they always stuck around after Helly's speech. My bad. So they make their way to the stairwell, and this is the emotional roller coaster because I'm sitting here like, they not gonna fucking make it, bro. They not somebody else is coming. That big bodyguard that was out there with Helena, somebody's fucking coming.
There's definitely more, but dude, think about the communication. Basically, was all like cut off. Drummond basically is the move around dude. He's the in between. Yeah. Like he was dead.
And Milchick was
cut off. And they took his radio.
They never showed that bodyguard dude except for that one time.
For that one time, that seemingly scared off what's her face.
Cobell. So they get to the fucking door, and he said, "Go through the door."
Right.
She goes through the door. She turns into Gemma with the door closing. She turns around and sees Mark again. She like, Mark, let's go. And he looked like, and I can't remember exactly, did he see the reflection of Helly behind him? Or he turned back, and when he turned back, Helly had just made her way to the end of the hallway. And I thought this was dope as hell for one reason, because this is a callback to season 1 when Helly wanted to leave, and Mark walked her down to that hallway, but he stood around the corner and he said, "We're not allowed to watch you leave." And Helly was like, "What? That's so stupid." And he was like, "We're not allowed to watch you leave. So this is where I stopped." So he just stood there. He waited. He knew she was going to keep going in and out as her Audi kept walking back into the door.
Right.
But Helly came around the corner to look. She wasn't supposed to look, but she didn't give a fuck because that's who she is. She has the Egan spirit in her. She's rebellious. So she walked around the corner without hesitation. She wanted to see Mark leave and turn into Mark Scout and leave with his wife. And he looked at her like, "Yeah, I don't know this bitch."
Like basically. Yes.
I don't know her.
He said it early in the episode. You want me to do all this for somebody that you care about?
Yeah. That's Miss Casey. She's cool, but I don't know her.
Right.
And I did my part. I saved her life. I got her out of here. That's what you told me to fucking do. So that's what I did.
But the person he was doing it for is now, dude, it's so fucking twisted. It's so good.
He turned around and he looked at Helly and he was like,
the end of this episode, Dre.
And Helly said nothing. And this, to me, was her accepting what his decision was without influencing it. Because she could have easily said,
"Come with me,
Mark." She could have said, "Mark." No, she could have said, "Mark, I'm not Helly. I'm Helena. Go with your wife.
Yeah.
Leave." She could have said that. She said it earlier, but he had convinced her after that point. And she was like, fuck it. And I think somewhere in the back of her head, too, the part where she knows she's an Egan and the part where the president of the company basically told her she's going to be alive no matter what because I see Kira in you and not in my actual daughter. So she knows in the back of her head, I'm going to be alive. They're not going to kill me.
She's using her Eganness in the like even her being an Egan or being now he wants the innie. Now the innie gets to live. Yeah.
And now she's standing there and she like, I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I'm not gonna say shit. I'm just gonna stand here and let you pick. And he chose and he turned away from his wife. And I swear on my soul, it was the saddest shit. At the same time, it was the coolest shit. Here's an homage because I'm old. I'm sorry, audience. I've seen a lot of fucking films. When they went, everybody was talking about this. First of all, and this is why I don't shout out other YouTube channels. No disrespect to my brother Jeremy. I don't shout out other people because they have their niche and they do their thing and they see things from their perspective.
Sure.
But they don't see the shit that everybody sees, and I see shit differently. So everybody's harping on how this went from digital to film as Mark and Helly are running down the hallway. Nobody's talking about the fact that this shit looks like the end of Logan's Run. You got to be a little older. I understand.
I've never seen it. I'm this not is a film head like you are for the most part. You're way more of a filmographer.
But let's just do it like this. Let's say it like this. This is why they'll come here. Because we're going to talk about the shit that the other motherfuckers don't know.
Okay.
Or won't pay attention to. This is an homage to Logan's Run. They even had the strobing lights going down the hall as they're running. And I'm sitting here like, bro, fucking Logan's Run. As soon as I saw it, I was like, fucking Logan's Run. Logan's Run came out before I was born, first of all. But this is a movie that's roughly the same fucking theme. It's a people in a society where after a certain point of usefulness or age, you're no longer necessary. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And this, I don't want to give that away. If you care enough about films and why people do the shit that they do and why Severance chose some of the shots in the composition of these shots, the way they chose them, start looking into some other film to see where the influences come from.
Oh, dude, and it's made by a person who's been in film his whole life. His whole family's been in film.
And somebody, Jerry Stiller is his father. Jerry Stiller has been in Hollywood forever. So these people love the art form. I love the art form. Jeremy loved the art form. Stiller. So I'm looking at this shit and I'm seeing the goddamn influence. But I promise you, the first thing that popped in my head wasn't that it's going from digital to film. Okay.
No, I didn't think about that either. I thought it was cool. And I loved the credits. The way they did with all the line work and artwork and everything. That's kind of what I was looking at.
Can I tell you the God's honest truth?
Yeah.
As soon as I saw the Logan's Run thing, I said, fucking Logan's Run.
That's awesome.
I was still mad that Mark ran away from Gemma. And I just turned this shit off. I didn't even try to watch the afterthoughts.
I still fucking understand it though, man.
I was pissed off, bro. I was like, you dumb bitch. Like, what? But I understood him. But I'm like, dude.
I don't know. I don't know what happens at this point. Like, dude, it's gonna be great because there's no way they don't. Do you think they just pick it up? They have to pick it up like right there, right? Like them running through the hallway. I thought
they have to pick it up. Yeah.
The credits, I don't know what it was. Like there was a little bit of everything in the credits that they showed with it was just like single line artwork too. I like it. I liked it a lot. So thoughts going forward? What do you think, man? Or is that a whole nother podcast? We're at over 2 hours at this point, and I know there was a little chunk in there.
This one was special.
For sure. It's the finale was absolutely phenomenal.
This is what I'll say. This is not something that's off the rails and they don't know what they're doing. They've laid down the tracks for every possibility moving forward. A lot of people is like, how the fuck are the innies going to live with it? No, they showed you already. They gave you the groundwork for it. One, in season 1, they already established that there might, with PD's conversation in the first or second episode with Mark, and he said there might be people in departments that never leave. That's one. They've established that there's some departments that never leave. 2, they've shown you that James Egan has a affectation for Helly R and not for Helena Egan. He stated this explicitly.
Yes.
That he sees Kira in her. He's not going to get rid of somebody who he sees his savior in.
Right.
This is a religious cult. She's not going anywhere. They've already shown you that Gemma has outside support with what's going to become her quest to get her husband out of this company.
Do you think
she has Devin? She has Ragabi. She has Cobell. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the support system is there. We saw that Seth just inadvertently got promoted yet again, but will still be dealing with the same level of disrespect and disregard from his higher ups, because with Drummond gone, Cobell's gone, and I speculate that Helena is gone, but Helly R will be there. I think we're gonna have Milchick stepping up to another higher role in maybe a new Lumen building.
By process,
I think this building is done.
Okay, that'd be cool to see a whole new Lumen location.
Yeah,
it would be really cool to see if they even exist. Because I mean, we're just kind of unsure. They could all be bullshit, you know. They could just like that. There being any other locations or any other department that could all be bullshit. Those people that were there at the very beginning of season 2, the replacements, they don't know. They were like, oh, they could be working in the same fucking building.
This is true. And because they can make new innies for each person, up to 25 so far that we know of.
Right.
They could recycle the same people over and over again. Now, the flip side to that is we touched on it earlier in one of our other discussions. They have simulation technology.
Well, yes, that's still unconfirmed.
No, that's confirmed. We saw it.
What do you mean?
The Orc Bowl was not outside. That was literally a simulation. There's no way in hell.
Yeah, but you're like, yeah.
The Orc Bowl was a simulation, bro. It had to be. They had a TV that was plugged up to nothing. Right. Then they showed Gemma in that room. I'm saying
it was like that. I don't know. We'll see.
They showed Gemma walk into a room that was an airplane in flight with effective gravity and turbulence. They have simulation technology.
I don't know that it's like I don't know. I think it's happening. If it's happening through the chip.
Yeah, but that's still a simulation. That's the Matrix at this point. If it's real to your brain, it's real.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So that opens the door for a lot of possibilities. So the possibilities for what season 3 can start off as and what it could ultimately be is endless, really. But we know the motivation here is to separate the human spirit and consciousness from the emotional attachment to life.
Yeah, and again, like I said earlier, it's a failed experiment at this point because the innies have emotional attachments. They're developing them. They become emotionally attached to things.
They have it to each other, but if they can be separated again, see, like if they separate them again, because they never implied even that Gemma's innies had emotional attachments to the other innies. Like the person who was the lady who was writing the Christmas cards.
Yeah.
They didn't imply that she cared about how she felt terrified as the person going to the dentist every fucking time she wake up. Yeah, they don't know. So they and again, this was the penultimate. This was the ultimate in what they were looking to do. The chip, this chip was the one that they were looking to perfect. The 25th file and the separation of her tempers for that 25th iteration was the final test, and all indications showed that it was working. It wasn't like she was sitting there taking that shit apart and was crying, or like, I feel bad about this and I don't know why. There was nothing. She was just taking the shit apart.
So what we've been seeing then basically is Severance beta test.
Yeah, they was beta tested this newest chip.
I'm saying like MDR and the GOAT people. That's like alpha and beta testing.
Yeah.
Like this is the 1.0. What Gemma has in her head is the 1.0 chip. I see what you're saying.
And look, and you just the words you just fucking said. Just put that shit. She's gonna be running for her life because she has the technology.
Chip. She has it in her head. She has the finished chip then.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So they were just going to take it out of her head and
they was
mass
going to take
produce
it and kill her, and that was it. But now she's going to be in the hands of Cobell and Rickon, because fuck Rickon, I don't trust him.
Well, he disappeared from the season. Like, he really did. Like, after what he was, they showed him, it was episode 1 or 2, and then
they showed him in a flashback, and that was it.
Yeah. So,
but I still don't trust him. And when you can't see Rickon, that's when Rickon does the worst shit. So I don't trust him.
No, hey, listen.
Where Rickon's in the shadows, that's not where you want him.
Well, and I was gonna say earlier too, I never really got around to it because it's just what we were talking about. But like how much of an effect did his book have on Mark S? And
a lot.
It did. I think it did. I think it was real hefty on him. And
he literally stopped working and was sneaking off to read the fucking book. He was self-actualizing with Rickon's stupidity. Like Rickon said,
right.
Fuck, I wish I could remember it, but he attributed one word to a modern word. He said the root of the word was a modern version of the word. It was backwards thinking.
It was backwards.
But the end result of it was, or the overall gist of what he was trying to say is that you are a person and you are worth something.
Right.
And it was self-esteem building on the most basic level, even though it was dumb as shit. It was good enough for any, because any don't know nothing.
They don't know nothing. They're essentially a child. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to explain exactly what they are because they know things but don't. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. So, what do you think is gonna happen?
I'm hoping for like a world expansion. Essentially, like you said, another Lumen building or location would be really, really cool. So but just opening up this world, finding out maybe where exactly they are located. What does the rest of the world know about this? Is this happening just centralized in this one location? Is Lumen... Yeah, I'm assuming they're a worldwide known name because of all the different products they make, but or is that just there? And they make it seem to everyone like that's the Lumen is the only thing. So yeah, I would like to see like a pullback of kind of like where we are, maybe some, I don't want to say like outside people looking in, trying to figure out or find out what's going on.
I was just about to ask you, do you want to see new characters or do you want to stay focused on our main cast?
I'm curious to find out what happens. I want more Bert and Irv. I want to find out what's going on with both of those characters. I want to know if Bert was severed or indoctrinated somehow, or if he was ever severed. We'll find out what happened to Fields. I mean, there's all kinds of shit that we're going to find out going forward. And I think it's... I think, honestly, this season of this show, the first season was very, very good, but I don't think it blew up. This season fucking blew up, man. Everybody was fucking talking about this.
No, this season is bananas.
Yeah. And
bananas.
Yeah. So next season will be all that much bigger because it's going to do the same thing. When they start announcing it, start talking about it, or announce a date for it to be out, people will ramp up and it'll get even more viewers.
So immediately following the season finale, Ben Stiller tweeted that people are requesting season 3 of Severance, and he tagged Tim Cook, the head of Apple, in his tweet. Tim Cook replied to the tweet with a tweet that said, "Season 3 of Severance is available upon request." And then they made a short little trailer of somebody making like the little fruit snack celebration, like the the watermelon and all that shit, or whatever the fuck the fruit was.
Okay, a melon party.
The melon party shit, but they put 3 of them on a little tray and confirmed that season 3 is they've been signed for season 3.
That's great.
That to me is cool, and I think it's a good bit of marketing, but it makes me worry because we waited a couple years between season 1 and 2. And if you're just now confirming season 3, if that's just not marketing and you didn't already do it and didn't already start.
I was going to say it's our. I would think that I don't know if they already start filming it, but like
I would hope that they already start filming it.
I would think the wheels have already been turning on that.
I needed they need to put this bitch in the quantum overdrive because the show I started watching this season, Paradise came out to raving reviews early on, like 3-4 episodes in. Everybody was talking about it. They was advertising it heavy. They were advertising it on a level that I felt like Severance should have been advertising during season 1. Severance did ads this season.
They did.
This show Paradise was everywhere. So by the time the season finale came out, the star, Sterling K. Brown, was talking about how dope the 3rd episode of season 2 was. They just finished filming it. You know what I'm saying? Like the show was running and they were filming the 2nd season already, and they had just gotten renewed like when the season started and people started raving about it. And this show is good enough. I feel like Severance deserves to be seen the way the people want it to be seen. I think it deserves to be finished, a real actual story finished from start to finish. But I think it also, the audience deserves not to wait 1.5 to 2.5 years between each season. They need to step on the fucking gas with this shit.
And you know what? I think some of that will happen, but also I don't want to see it rushed, and I don't want to see corporate pushing it out just to get it out. I want to see it done and done correctly.
Generally, when we rush something, we see poor effects, budgets, post-production.
Yeah.
A lot of this shit is practical. If you got the story already, fucking rush it.
If the script is done and the ideas are solid and they're already there and you know what the direction is, then why not fucking go for it? Listen, so like something similar, and I want to. We're already almost 2.5 hours, but like something similar happened to Invincible. So after the first season, like it was almost 2+ years before we saw the next season.
The show was in limbo,
but they didn't know it was. I think strikes and stuff like that had something to do with that as well. But like. Also, like their animation took a long time. Animation takes a while, but like after that, they were like, "All right, no, it's a hit. We got it." And now they're like, every season there's a season coming out per year.
Yeah, we got.
So like they got the budget to fucking work on it, and they put it into overdrive, and we got season 2 last year, and then season 3 this year. And
and also the source material for Invincible, they pretty much stick pretty close to it. So
and it's there, which is
fucking
also
animate that shit. I know it's gonna cost some money. Pay the animators. Don't use AI, please, because we will spot it. But fucking pay the animators and get this shit out, man.
Yeah,
get it out. And because and another thing, I hate to hit that sour note. We just lost George Foreman, man. R.I.P. to George Foreman.
I didn't know that. R.I.P.
Yeah,
I hadn't heard
fucking
that.
George Foreman gone, bro. But we losing a lot of our legacy talents. A lot of our legacy voice actors, a lot of our legacy actors who might get into voice acting, a lot of voices from past generations who've meant a lot to film and television.
Well, even like John
Turturro
and Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken. I don't even want to say the whole sentence, but I know what you're saying. But I'm thinking that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, get this shit done, bro.
I feel you. I'm in agreement with that. So anyway, come back. I don't know. We'll still be on Daredevil, so we'll be doing that. But I don't know what the next big show we'll be covering is. So we'll just try to cover whatever it is on this channel. Stick with us. We might do season 1.
I'll try to
go back and check it out.
I'll try to get Jeremy to go ahead and finish his rewatch of season 1. We can do a retrospective on it. I'll try to convince him to, at the very least, watch the first season of Paradise, even though he said he's not interested in it. I think he will love it just like everybody else who actually watched it.
I'd be more interested in Silo.
Sweet baby bow-legged cracker Christ. Watch Silo. I'll take Paradise. I will take Paradise off the table.
I'd be more interested in watching Silo. That looks more up my alley than Paradise would be.
If you watch Silo, without saying too much, the people who've watched Silo, I have a connective thread for Silo and Severance that I have yet to be able to discuss online.
Okay.
I don't want to say, but I think that if we're the first to talk about it, nobody else will have. I know nobody has talked about this. So
that would be also be bananas. I like that though. You see some sort of through thread that they got planned for like fucking 5 or 6 years.
They talk about it. I just need you to watch it.
I'll check it out. Like I said, we're at the end of Severance, so yeah, we need something else to be on. So, but a retrospective on season 1 would be actually cool because like you said, watching that with everything we know now is a totally different show. So yeah, I'll pick that back up and start writing some notes down and stuff like that for it. So yeah, check us out on the next one. Anything past, present, and future content, check out right here on this channel. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And we'll see you on the next one.
I'm gonna leave links to the shop for the t-shirts on the comments. So
do that because I might even order me the
meal chick Drake.
Emil says thank you.
Emil says thank you.
Yeah, I might.
I can't wait to make that shirt. I'm making that shirt tomorrow morning.
Right.
As soon as I wake up, I'm sleeping as shit right now.
Oh yeah, we got another. There's another episode of Daredevil on or we got to watch. We got to do that. You know, seen the new episode yet? The one after the White Tiger one?
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah. We haven't done that yet. We got to do the episode on that.
Oh yeah, we got to do that. Well, let me know when you're ready. I'm ready.
All right, cool. All right, see you guys in the next one. Later.
Yeah.
Are you calling me right now?